my name is John Maeglin, and we have been members of Temple Jeremiah for 20 plus years, 25 years, something like that. And but it's interesting because I kind of see my Jewish beginning starting in college, which is many, many years ago. And I was in a comparative religion course. And by the way, I should probably say that I was not born Jewish, but converted 10, 15 years ago. So I didn't start off being Jewish. I'm a Jew by choice. And but there was a comparative religion class, and I interviewed a rabbi this is in Des Moines, Iowa, a small Jewish community. But I interviewed a rabbi as a part of this, and he was gracious to sit down with this complete stranger who knew very little about Judaism at the time, and allow me to ask him a bunch of questions. And I remember the one thing he said was sort of the core of being Jewish is to live, let live, and help others to live. I remember that to this day. That had a profound effect on me, and I thought that's a really, really a wonderful way to look at the world. And that was happening about the same time as I met my wife, who is Jewish, born Jewish. She's a Skokie girl, and went to Jewish Camp Shai, and the whole thing. And so there was a coming together of my past, which was quite different from hers, and this introduction sort of officially to Judaism through this comparative religion course that I took. And it started to feel right even back then. And I guess what I should say is that I come from a very open family. And my parents were open to everything. I mean, I'm talking about new experiences and travel and meeting new people and all of this stuff. So it wasn't like I had to break out of some very formal role in order to explore other things. That was always kind of open to us as a family. And that's kind of where it begins. I will say that my in-laws, who I love dearly, they're the most wonderful people in the world, they never pushed me. And I give them incredible credit for this. They never said, you must do this, any of that stuff, right? So when I decided to convert to Judaism, this was completely my decision. And there was no external pressure. And I think that's the only way that this can be done in a sincere and genuine way. Otherwise, it's just a meaningless process. So that's kind of how I came to be where I am now. So I've been living a Jewish life, even, before converting, and I know that there are other, our temple is filled with interfaith marriages, and some have chosen the path that I have, where there's conversion, and sometimes that's not the case, and it's and Jeremiah is very open to that, which is wonderful, because people never feel uncomfortable at the synagogue. But I think truly I had been living a Jewish life because we raised our kids Jewish. We never had an issue with that, my wife and I. And so I became more and more immersed in Judaism, starting when knowing my wife and her family. The kids come along, and we get into all the religious school and all of that kind of stuff. And I just became more and more acclimated, maybe isn't the right word, but comfortable with, and it felt like part of me. And then it was simply a matter of sort of formalizing it. I will say, as an aside, that about the same time that I converted, one of my brothers converted to Judaism. He has sort of a similar story. He married a Jewish girl. She's from New York. And so he was converting at about the same time. So we sort of laugh that when we go back to our hometown, we're the biggest Jewish family in my little town in Iowa. So